Oh, what's up? Oh, I hope you didn't think we was gonna forget about you. Ooh, wait. The Allen Ricks, thank you for digging up that audio. Oh, you know they buried that right now because they don't want people to hear it. But we got you. Caught you red-handed. See, Stephen A. Smith, y'all don't really, well, y'all know him now. He's this big LeBron apologist now. Anything LeBron do, he's now crediting his greatness. It's like, what happened here? When did this happen? This never used to be his take. This never used to be his breakdown or analysis of LeBron James. Never was. So now you got to start to think, okay, the analysis is different. What changed? New president at his job of ESPN. More pundits that work for LeBron James's agency that he signed to, Clutch Sports, are working at ESPN now. More of them are surrounding you. So for you to be alienated in a situation which is not beneficial, from the moment he came to the Los Angeles Lakers, that's when your narrative started to swing and change. It swung around and did a whole 180. And the people don't even remember how you used to sound. But we got it. Because this actually came out and exposed the entire show. Now, I want y'all to listen to this because this is very effective. And I want to say, definitely, everybody out there, hit the like button. Uh, it's yeah, it's a doozy. This is a doozy. Hit your like button. That's right. Like it up. Like it up. Subscribe to the page if you're new here. This is it. Want to make sure you guys are all in on this. Yes, sir. Now, listen to this and tell me what you think. Shouts out to the Ricks TV. Subscribe to him.
Are we too LeBron obsessed? You just that promo. We go through every scenario. We talk about him every single day. What do you think? Are we too LeBron obsessed?
Now, this was a topic when Max Kellerman was there. Are we too obsessed with LeBron James? Are we too obsessed with LeBron James? We talk about him every day. That was the topic that was brought up. Let's see their answer. Let's see how ESPN address the fact that they talk about LeBron James every day, because that narrative is very important. Who's telling you to do that? When there's 29 other teams you got, why are you only promoting him? Let's listen.
I think we are a bit too obsessed with LeBron James. I mean, he's box office. I personally am tired of talking about him. I don't want to sound cruel or whatever the case may be, but to be quite honest with you, LeBron, his insatiable appetite to control the narrative through individuals close to him more so than himself, because he always attaches himself to plausible deniability, annoys me.
I hear you on the sensitivity. No disagreement.
So it annoys him that he runs through pundits that are close to him to do his biddings because he wants deniability. Wow. How did all of that change within the last 5 years? Did he turn over a new leaf with LA? No. So if you felt like this back then, he was about 18 years in the league then. So I'm having a hard time figuring this out. What changed? What would bring on such a dramatic turn of events that would make you all of a sudden shift your way of thinking when it comes to LeBron James? Let's listen.
Agreement on the sensitivity of today's modern athletes. But when you say that we're too obsessed with LeBron James, Stephen A., are you even attaching that thought to the idea that we're a little obsessed on where he's going to go next year, what team he's going to go to?
No, that's justified. That's justified. Because that matters, free agency and where he goes to. But I'm talking about every little thing that he has done throughout this year. We've chronicled. Other guys have done different things. We haven't even talked about that.
All right.
But when it comes to LeBron, anything he does, we talk about.
Brainwash.
Yep. Now, every little thing somebody does, we talk about. I mean, everything LeBron does, we talk about. Every little thing he does, we talk about. And there's other people and other players doing things, and we don't even talk about them. How did you go from that stance to the stance you at now? So when he was in Cleveland, this was the narrative. When he was in Miami, that was the narrative. But now that he's with the Los Angeles Lakers, that narrative just doesn't exist anymore. That is very hypocritical indeed. Very hypocritical indeed. How could someone pivot so far over to the other side once they go to the Los Angeles Lakers? Because it's like I told you before, this is the narrative that they wanted to show you. He was the agenda. LeBron James, the most durable player of all time. They'll tell you any lie that come to their head, won't they? He's the most durable guy, but he couldn't play 82 games, but once in his entire career? But he's the most durable player of all time. This is the narrative that I fight against all the time. These guys in their so-called talking points, these media pundits are all screwed in the head. They create topics just to get through the day. They don't care about what they said yesterday. It's about what they finna say today. What was said yesterday, they don't even remember. This would all be news to them. Even though they said it, it would all be news to them now. Because they have pivoted to a whole new position, a new ship. And this is what the new ship represents. So we had to fess up for this one. Because we knew it was going to be taking shots. Yep. Now you look at Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is like, I'm out of here. I'm done with them anyway. It wasn't a great fit. There's a lot of stuff over there that you can't say. And you have to talk about LeBron all the time. So Paul was done with them when they talking about they letting him go. He's like, what? I'm done with them anyway. It's not a great fit. Now he's thriving on a podcast. See, as I told you, y'all done messed up and stepped in that quicksand. See, you got to remind people and rewind them. Let's even go back further, people. We're going to go back even further. Let's take this back to Miami Heat before he won the championship. He had just lost in the NBA Finals, right? You know, we don't go back to that LeBron James. And the person that used to defend him was Stephen A. Smith. He used to defend LeBron, as we all did. We all made excuses for his game. I was one of them. Yeah, I used to make excuses for LeBron James. When y'all call me the biggest LeBron hater in the world, I made excuses for LeBron James's game. When he came in the league, he had a lot of people hating on him, saying, why are they giving all this press to this high school player? This is what's setting the game back. They should be focused on college players. Why are we worried about a guy who's not going to be anything for 3 to 4 years? He should just go to college. That's what was the whole talk about LeBron, all this hype. So I said, man, why are they dumping on the kid? He's 18, 17 years old. Let's see what he does before you start passing judgment and criticizing him. He went through all of it, and I said, man, he's handling it pretty well. Even though they put training wheels on him, and they made sure he was okay, kept him in his hometown, so nothing would be different for him. He was able to mature as a player, being in his hometown, till he was okay to travel to a bigger town to go out and win championships. Now, the league was grooming him for this. So this was a grooming process for LeBron. Now, we were rooting for him to do well and prove these guys wrong. As you know me, I am an underdog guy. I'm rooting for the small guy. I'm rooting for the underdog. I want them to upset the system. All the experts to be wrong. That's my goal. I love that. Anybody who knows me knows that's what I really, really focus on. It's like, yeah, disrupt this system. So if we take it back, we see a pattern of behavior that comes from LeBron that's not accustomed to champions. But still, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I just knew he wasn't getting better. I knew he was the same type of player he was from year one. He just wasn't getting better. He was the same guy who lost in San Antonio when he was in Cleveland than he lost in 2011, 4 or 5 years later, when he was in Dallas with Wade and Bosh. Now, after losing to Wade and Bosh, losing the finals with those guys on your team, to the older, more experienced veteran Dallas Mavericks, this was seen as unacceptable by people. And let's take you back to how Stephen A. Smith used to talk then. Let's listen.
Smith, next topic. The tweet heard round the world. LeBron tweeting yesterday to John Clayton. He wanted to know when was the deadline for NFL teams to sign free agents.
Now, LeBron was joking, of course, but other people didn't see this as a joking matter. Do you want to know why? Let's find out why.
And man, did that cause a stir. Stephen A., you had a particular problem with it. Go.
Well, he came out and he acknowledged later on that he was joking, if I hear correctly. My whole point with LeBron James is that he just needs to be quiet. The NBA had just canceled the first 2 weeks of the season.
First 2 weeks.
People, over in excess of $200 million is being lost. People losing their jobs and things of that nature. And here you are joking as usual. I have no problem with them tweeting because players tweet all the time. Mm-hmm. That's not the issue. It's the fact that he was joking, and it was the timing of his joke that I have a problem with. Mm-hmm. You need to focus, okay, on getting a deal done, getting a collective bargaining agreement reached, so you can get back on the court and make up to millions upon millions of fans who watched you wet the bed in the fourth quarter. That's what you need to be doing. I don't want to hear anything about football. I don't want to hear anything about anything else. I want to hear about their sneakers. I have no problem with Carmelo Anthony, his sneakers, but they got to win too. And Amari Stoudemire being up here yesterday with his tight suit on and all that. I have no problem with that either. I got no problem with none of that. But LeBron James, it is time. And the reason that I say it's time is because he's the one with the tattoo, the chosen one. He's the one with the King James. I want to hear stuff. He's a great guy, and he's got to deal with a lot of stuff. And we, bottom line is he's a great person, okay? And we shouldn't even be focused on anything but his game. But his game has come up short time and time again. And the one other thing that I want to say, Skip, before I leave this to you, and I'm dead serious about this. There's something about LeBron James that's really starting to alarm me.
What is it?
You got titles, King James, chosen one.
Yep.
None of the great guys, they shun all of that until they won a championship. It's like he wants to be crowned with no rings. You don't get to do that.
Skip's been saying
you
that
got to
for
get
years.
it done. And I've been holding off on it because I disagreed with Skip totally. But to lose in the finals the way that he did, and then to come out here with the smile on your face like that, the world is just beautiful. I don't understand it. Champions don't do that. They just don't.
And that's what they were saying back then. And they were right. Champions don't do that. People who think in a championship manner don't think like that. So Stephen A. Smith used to speak correctly about LeBron. What happened? What happened that now that he's on the Los Angeles Lakers, that you have to toe the line, Stephen A., when it comes to LeBron? You did a complete 180. Because that was then, right before he started winning championships. Then you completely switched up again. So there's no coinky-dink. There's nothing that was misconstrued. There was no coincidence here. Well, it's clear.
There's 25 points against the Thunder.
Sorry about that, but it's clear that LeBron James is exactly what we thought he was, and we keep trying to put him on a pedestal. Well, the league is. For 21 years, they've been marketing this guy, riding his stats all the way into the toilet, and they can't figure out why the numbers are such a differential between what the normalcy, what the numbers would be compared to the NFL, and how it's such a large gap when that gap didn't used to be there. So they blame the internet. They blame everything else. No, blame the fact that you're trying to control the game again and make people superstars who are not superstars. You're gravitating towards role players rather than actual stars of the league because they don't fit your agenda. Your agenda is we have to get somehow, some way, get our guy that we market so much back in the playoff and the finals hunt. We got to get him there. This insults the intelligence of the people who watch the game to the point where we don't want to see it because we know it's fake. So we don't want to see this garbage. We want to see the game. We want to see those who deserve to win championships win championships. We don't want to say, okay, what we got to do next year to try to help LeBron get to an NBA final. No. He's been over 10 times, right? He couldn't get it done then. That's enough. Put him out the pastures. It's over. Why are we steady milking the cow that's not giving milk? He's giving pus. Like, he has nothing else going for him. Now, what say everyone else? What say them? Let's take, for instance, LeBron James, right? He had to give his thoughts on him scoring the points faster than Kobe.
By a year. Stephen A. Smith, when we look back on LeBron's career someday, what should he be remembered for most? Abilities or championships?
God, Molly was basic as hell.
Championships, meaning lack thereof. LeBron James as a talent will probably go down as a top 3 talent of all time, maybe top 2, definitely top 5. He's one of the greatest players in the history of basketball. That is undeniable. I don't care what the haters try to say. But in the end, you know, he's starting to climb up there. He's got 5 NBA Finals losses. It's likely going to be 6 this year. And the way things are looking, it'll probably end up being 7 or 8. We're starting to talk about him in the same breath as Jerry West. And I hate that because I look at a guy like Jerry West, who's a basketball savant and was a phenomenal basketball player. The silhouette, even though I'm one who believes that Michael Jordan should be the silhouette now. But that's no knock on Jerry West whatsoever, because even he agrees with that at this particular moment in time. But 1-8 in an NBA Finals. Even with that, here's the difference. You know why we can look at Jerry West? You know, 6'2", 6'3" guard, whatever the case may be. He kept running into Bill Russell and the Boston Celtics. That is not the case with LeBron. We didn't expect you to beat San Antonio the first time, but we damn sure expected you to beat the Dallas Mavericks. Y'all were the favorite. You lost that year. When you won the first championship against San Antonio, Ray Allen came and saved the day, even though LeBron showed up in Game 7. The following year, they got obliterated by more than 70 points or about 70 points over a 5-game series in which they got blown out of there, okay? Even though you lost to the Golden State Warriors when you didn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love, you lost to them last year because Kevin Durant pulled one of your moves in the eyes of your critics. And on top of it all, those same critics that get on him about trying to be passive aggressive or calling him a prima donna, those same critics point to the fact that any kind of balance of power that has shifted, those guys learned that from LeBron James. So they're not giving him any sympathy in that regard. So he'll walk away with all the money in the world. He'll walk away being recognized as one of the greatest ever, top 5 easy, probably top 2 or 3. But in the end, they're going to count those championship losses against LeBron if he keeps losing. If he wins a couple of more, that would be different. But if we saw the last of LeBron James as a champion and he keeps losing to Golden State, they're going to be like, king of what? That's how they're going to come at him.
And that's what I'm coming at him as. King of what? Finals losses? Failure? That's what I look at. For a slasher, he's had a heck of a career. But what would LeBron James' career look like if he didn't get help from the league, if he wasn't the agenda of the NBA? Now, if you sit here and say that he's not and never was the agenda of the league, slap yourself. Slap yourself very hard, sir. That man is nothing but a walking, talking, breathing personification of what goes wrong when you're overprivileged. Stephen A. All he used to do is cap. Boy, he's like Captain America now. Every time you turn around, that's what he's doing. Now, if I present myself with different type of scenarios or equations, if I sit there and tell myself that, oh, so-and-so is this, and so-and-so is that, but LeBron James, he's the greatest, no, I'll be lying. If the game has changed and it's more docile, how can you accredit LeBron James for something that anybody else could do on any given night? If I put B.J. Armstrong in this league today, Benjamin Roy Armstrong would average probably 20-some points a night, 25 to 30 points a night, and have about 10 assists a game. And we're talking about B.J. Armstrong. If I was to put Mark Price in this era here, Mark Price would average about 30 and 12. If I put Craig Elo in today's game, he would average about 28 with about 7 rebounds, 8 rebounds a game, and probably 5 assists. So if you're telling me that, oh, because Michael Jordan was going against these guys, LeBron James are going against guys with much lesser talent. You might see these people as athletic, but they don't know the game. Michael Jordan went against guys who knew and was trained in basketball. They knew the game. He was going against guys that really played the game. Guys who had an offhand. They could score with their left or right. They had footwork in the paint. And you talk about how their bodies look, they could run for days. They ain't all cut up and athletic looking. They ain't in the gym lifting weights. They drinking beers and can outrun you and play for days. They were built different. So Stephen A. had to curtail his takes on LeBron once he got to Los Angeles. That narrative had to change. He was being overly critical of LeBron James. So that narrative had to change. So, as you heard, while he was losing in Cleveland to Kevin Durant, he was still on his head, saying, I can't give this guy no credit until he proves he's going to have to win some more. So when he was going to the Lakers, they didn't want Stephen A. tearing him down. Now you got new ownership. You got new people in the boat. And the new people in the boat don't want you tearing down LeBron James. Because you're bringing too much truth to light. They don't want that. Not on any platform where they're friends with the broadcast team of LeBron and all of his pundits and this NBA contract that they got. They don't want to have a contract with someone that's going to tear down the sport. They would go to Fox if this stays up. They ain't going to Fox, but still, I get it. They're not going to want to do that. Why would you want to go to something that's destroying everything that you believe? Well, you heard it firsthand. Shouts out to the Ricks TV, the Allen Ricks, actually, TV. Dreamers Pro, Kwame Brown Bus Life, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez, Ticket TV. And don't forget to go to the Patreon. We have a great surprise over there for everybody. Hopefully you enjoy it. And I am out like a scout on a new route.